For hip external rotation iso warm up, you're going to lay flat on your back and externally rotate your hip on your right side, and then we're going to do it on our left side, actively holding for 6 seconds. Think about trying to get more external rotation at our hip. Then we're going to abduct our hip out 30 degrees, externally rotate, thinking about trying to get more external rotation, switching sides, doing the same thing, abducting 30 degrees, externally rotating at the hip, holding for those 6 seconds. Then we're going to flex our hip up, bring it out to the side, and then we're going to externally rotate at the hip, holding this position, trying to get more external rotation or thinking about getting more external rotation. For all these, making sure that we're not trying to compensate and get extra movement when necessary. Then we're going to flex straight up, externally rotate at the hip, hold 6 seconds. Then we're going to switch to the other leg, flex up, externally rotate, actively trying to externally rotate as we hold that position. Then we're going to flex up and abduct, so bring it across and externally rotate at the hip. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, abduct, externally rotate, actively holding that position. Then we're going to flex our knee up and we're going to externally rotate, which is actually bringing it in towards your other leg. So we're going to rotate it over our other leg as far as we can, keeping our knee at 90 degrees and keeping our hips at 90 degrees. So if it means you're going to move your leg out, do a little less external rotation, and you can even stabilize your leg if that helps. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to externally rotate our hips, and then we're going to side bend to one side. And once we get to our full range side bend, we're going to think about externally rotating at the hip. So actively think about externally rotating that hip once you get to full side bend, thinking about trying to get maybe more range of motion or just actively activating those muscles. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to flip onto our stomach, and then we're going to bend our knee up to 90. And again, we're going to externally rotate, which means bringing our foot towards our other leg. And in this position, I like to have my hands on my hips to try to gauge how much hip movement I'm doing. I try not to let my other hip lift off the ground. I try to keep my hips as level as I can while still trying to actively externally rotate. Then we're going to flex our knee up and we're going to externally rotate and then try to extend up. From here, it's more important that we're maintaining external rotation than it is that we're getting extension. So if it's easier for you to extend first and then externally rotate, that is okay, but we want to make sure we're getting that external rotation.